Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Welcome to the channel. What's today? Today's Thursday, so again, we're gonna do some what solds today. Generally, I save talking points for the weekend for my Saturday video, but I just want to address one thing really quick, and then we'll move on to the what solds. Like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the items we have here. Also, hit the bell notification and notified when I drop these videos. These What's Sold videos come out Tuesday, Thursday, and there's an extra long video on Saturday that includes what sold as well too. But really quick, I wanted to talk briefly about AI. I'm seeing a lot. Everyone's talking about AI. AI's coming. AI's coming to reselling now. AI is not coming to reselling. Artificial intelligence, what artificial, the definition of artificial intelligence is not here yet. It's not here. It may be here. It may be here. It may not be here. We don't know. What we're basically doing, or what we're seeing with a lot of these things that are called AI, is essentially really, really great software. And it's more like a Google search. But why is it so good? Why is it able to create, essays for people in school? Or, a lot of people, in our space, they're talking about creating listings. Why? How is this happening? Well, it has a lot of data to pull from. So all this data that is being collected by all these companies, there's a lot of it out there. There's data centers popping up all over the place. There's a data center not too far from us. There's several data centers actually not too far from us. They're popping up everywhere. And this software is able to pull that data. You put in what you want into the software. You plug in, and it's becoming very good as far as speaking and being able to determine what you're talking. You can completely misspell words. You can put in a incoherent sentence and it'll still be able to pick it up because why? It knows based on what information it has in databases probably around the world now at this point. It knows exactly what you're looking for based on the series of words that you put into that sentence or what you are searching for. One great example, and this is many years. This is like 2 decades ago now, over 2 decades ago now, when I was doing my Oracle certification. The Oracle database is, if you guys have never worked, it's actually not really that common because I never even used it. But I was like, this is actually an amazing database. You communicate with it just as if you're having a conversation, and it was giving you all the information that you needed. Yeah, there were some, commands that you had to use and stuff like that, but for the most part, it was incredibly intuitive. And this has been around for at least a couple of decades now. Who knows what they're at now? I haven't messed with Oracle at all in many years. But it was a tremendous database software, and it at that point it seemed AI-ish. It was like, wow, this is like really just. It was far beyond what a lot of other people were doing, which is why Oracle is so successful. But AI as we have it now on the consumer end, everyone's like, we have AI software. It's not AI. It's not an artificial intelligence. It is simply just a Google search that has a ton of data to pull from, and it can do it lightning fast. It's just getting faster and faster and faster. Why is it getting faster and faster and faster? Because of the hardware that supports it is getting way better. And some of this hardware that supports this, like my computer over here, I have a NVIDIA 3080, is incredibly fast. And they're using these essentially GPU processing units. We call them GPUs, graphic processing unit. Not to be confused with a CPU, but they do act very similarly. There are some architectural differences, though. And they can handle these tasks at amazing speed, which is why NVIDIA is incredibly valuable right now, because NVIDIA is at the top of the market in this space. So the processing power is just amazing, And it happens like that, just at the snap of a finger, blink of an eye. And the amount of time it takes for you to look at something, here's a neat fact. But when you actually see something, it's already happened. It's already in the past because there's several milliseconds that occur or that happen in between you actually seeing the item and your brain actually registering it. So by the time you physically are recognizing the image in your brain, that moment has already gone. Has already come and gone. It's past. It's already in the past. So you're seeing things that are in the past already. So and this thing is operating. This software that you're seeing everywhere pop up is happening that fast. Not necessarily millisecond level, but definitely at a speed that we have not seen. Why? Because the software is really good. We have a huge, who knows, massive data set that it can pull from. Think of it just like a search engine. When you type something in, it goes out there and looks for it. The hardware that is supporting this software is at a point now where it's just amazing. I talked about the other day in a video where I said, technology, 10 years is already vintage when it comes to technology. 20 years, that's ancient history. It's not even antique at that point. It's ancient history. The graphics card I have in here is already an old graphics card. This is already 4 years old. There's already the 40 series are coming, and we're talking about 50 series coming out next year. And they're just getting faster and faster and faster, better. And these data centers have thousands of graphics cards chips in there. Essentially, they're called, they call them something different, but they're graphics card chips, GPUs, essentially. And thousands of these things operating, and they are just moving data incredibly fast. It's speed. It's a Google search. It's not artificial intelligence. It's not AI. No matter how many, everybody keeps talking AI. So, when everybody's saying AI, the majority is saying AI. Eventually, all the people in the minority are just going to think the same. AI. This is AI. This is artificial intelligence. We're in artificial intelligence. We're getting close to a Terminator, but we're not. Okay. All right. Let's move on here. Let's get to the what solds and the cool items that we are selling. What should we start with? Let's start with this right here. And I kind of, was playing around with the picture size so that way I can get rid of some of the border that's in here so I can make it look bigger, but not, cut into my face or my body. Here we go. So we have, it still did it. Hold on really quick. Give me 1 second. It shouldn't do this once I do this here. Once I can correct it there. I think just because let me move that back. There we go. I think because I reset it, or I went out of it and then back in it. Okay. But what we have here is a accessory for a Tesla Model 3. Everything Tesla does really well right now. Okay. I've sold Tesla like little hubcap, little covers for the bolts for the wheels. Those have sold for around $40. This sold for $40. I don't even have to pull my phone out. I remember this one. $40 is for a Tesla Model 3. I'm not sure exactly. I'm assuming this fits somewhere in the center console, but it has 2 USB-C plugs in the back, and this will allow you to charge 2 phones wirelessly in your vehicle. The brand, which is, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Farasala. There's like some high end. You'll see when you type this in there in eBay, you're going to see some very high prices for a lot of their products, and it appears that they only do Tesla accessories. So I could not find any of this data to go on. I couldn't find any wireless charging devices, so I kind of priced it high. And I was waiting to see, what someone would offer me for it because there was no data on it. Someone offered me $40, great price, hits our profit margin, and we're rolling. So, and it's a great item to ship out. It's just a wireless charging pad. You can use it at home too if you really wanted to, and goes in a poly bag. Send a little box. Has its own original box, and it's lightweight. It's less than a pound, so great item, great sale. Okay, now hopefully this stays. Close that. Close that one. Hopefully this stays the same shape. Okay, here's another really, really cool item. And we have a piece of pottery. Now, this is a vegetable steamer. Believe it or not, this goes in the microwave. I recently sold a bacon maker, um, which is also pottery, and that goes in the microwave. So, you typically, not too many people, necessarily put pottery in a microwave, but you can put pottery in a microwave, and this one is made to be put in the microwave. You put your vegetables in it, you put a little bit of water, it has some holes in the top lid, and it will quickly steam your vegetables, and you'll have nice vegetables to eat a healthy dinner. Stoneware, started out with stoneware. So this really, really didn't have a brand name. I couldn't really find. It had a symbol on the bottom, which I didn't. It's not in this picture, but it did say made in Portugal. So a little exotic, but it is stoneware, so it's a heavy duty. Obviously, it's going into the microwave, so it's going to be. It's meant to go in the microwave, so it's going to be heavy, heavy duty, really, really thick pottery. Which is why I threw stoneware in there. Stoneware is just it's just a, some of the. It's a name for the material. Technically, a more stony, very heavy type of material used to make ceramics or pottery or whatever. And vegetable microwave, obviously. You're going to use the vegetables. Use what you're going to. I mean, you could steam pretty much anything in this thing, but you're going to use what the most common use for this is vegetables. Microwave, and where it goes, microwave. It is a steamer. It's blue. It's a pot, made in Portugal, and cooking. I put cooking in there because it's a form of cooking. And where are you going to be using this? Where's your microwaves usually in the kitchen? So great little piece, real nice piece of pottery, and it's really quick. Let me look up here and see. I forgot the Tesla thing too as well. I forgot to tell you about the shipping stuff. I got to get into a habit, get in a routine. Okay, so the shipping for the Tesla was $9.69, and like I said, it's gonna go in a poly bag. This is gonna go in an 8x8, so 8 inch by 8 inch by 8 inch box. It's gonna be wrapped up very nicely, and this one sold for. Let me just. This one sold for. That's not what I am looking for. $35.04. The shipping cost was $13.44. That is what the buyer paid, not ultimately what I paid for it. Because, like I said, it's only like a buck or between $1 and $2 less, usually, um, what the actual label will cost. And I do that to help, offset the cost of all the shipping products. Generally, where I will not make any money when it comes to like the shipping is right around £2. If it's £2 in between 1 to 2 pounds, generally for the most part, I may not make anything really on those items. They really have to be heavier than 2 pounds, and they have to be less than 1 pound. I'll make a little bit of money, like around $1, $2 the most, mostly around $1 ish. But in that $2 mark, or I'm sorry, in that 2 pound range, that 1 to 2 pound range, I'm generally probably not making anything on the shipping on these items. So really great piece, really cool. Okay, next item. We're gonna close that picture out, and then let's see. Next one is a wallet. Now, wallets, I've talked about this before. Wallets do incredibly well. You just gotta get the right brands. You gotta look out for good quality uh, wallets, and generally they'll sell for. This one sold for $20. I already know this one. Um, just double check my work here. I'm pretty sure it was $20. It was or is $20. $5.15 is what they paid on shipping. This is less than a pound, so we're definitely gonna make a little bit of money on the shipping. Goes in the poly bag. And this was just a really nice leather wallet. That's how I was able to identify, because I wasn't familiar with American Leather Co., and it's a pretty generic name. But I identified it based on the quality of the workmanship. It was real nice. And I put Southwestern in the title because it had a Southwestern look and feel as well too to the leather. So that's how I was able to identify it initially, is by the feel of the leather, the quality of the workmanship. Then I was like, I'm not familiar with this name, so I looked it up, and sure enough, it's a great one to be picking up. It'll sell between $20 to $30. This one sold for $20. There are other variants, so definitely keep your eye out for it. Really cool American leather wallets, and like I said, wallets are great. They, you know, I guess a zipper can break in shipping, but knock on wood, like I always say. But they ship relatively easily. Poly bags, padded poly bags. I generally always use padded poly bags. I don't. Stuffed animals, clothing will go in non-padded poly bags, but for the most part, things like this, just because they do have buttons, they do have zippers, I do want a little bit of protection just in case. I'll put them in padded poly bags. So keep your eye out for wallets. American Leather Co. wallet, leather brown, snap, has a snap closure and a zip closure as well too. And then if it has a Western or Southwestern style, definitely throw that into the title. It will help to get your item sold. And there's also, in the item specifics, there's also style. I think Southwestern and Western are a potential style that you can select in the item specifics. So wallets do incredibly well. They sell well, and they usually sell, if you get the right brands, $20 and or more. Okay, let's close that one out. And then what do we have next? Next one, you're gonna be thinking of bag. Well, bags, fairly common. Purses, totes. There's a bunch of them. A bunch of them on eBay, and a bunch sold, a bunch listed, and I don't know what the average selling price on a lot of bags are. Probably, if I had to guess, somewhere around the $5-ish to $10-ish range. And so you want to try to look for those brands that sell well, because there are plenty out there. Coach, getting a little oversaturated. And plus, with designer brands, you run the risk of potential fakes, and you really got to be good at being able to identify those. I really don't touch a brand like Louis Vuitton because it's difficult for me to be able to determine if it's real or not. Sometimes I'll gamble, sometimes I won't. But this is a good brand to be on the lookout for. Lowe and Sons, the Catalina Deluxe Tote, sold for $40. Reason why I'm remembering a lot of these prices is because I just uploaded these pictures really quick to get these ready for the video. So sold for $40. It's all canvas. Nothing breaks on this. I did put this in a box just because it was fairly large. So I felt it deserved a box. And the box didn't really change anything as far as the weight. It was going to fall within 2 pounds. And so it wasn't going to change really anything by me throwing a box in there. It was still going to be a 2-pound shipper. It would have probably sold for more than that had it not been white. The other colors are a little bit more in demand and command a little bit of a better price. But this is the Catalina Deluxe Tote, a weekender travel bag. I always throw travel in a lot of these larger bags because what do people do with large totes and bags? They're traveling somewhere. White, it is canvas, carry all. You just kind of throw everything in there, which means it doesn't really have any. I think it has one internal pocket in there, if I remember correctly, and that's about it. It had a lower part that you can unzip and store stuff in there as well too. But really cool bag. Look out for Lowe and Sons. They do incredibly well. And this one did well. $40 for a bag, for a canvas bag or a canvas tote. $40 is not bad. It definitely beats the average, although I don't know what the average is. what they're going for. Definitely beats it, but I don't know what the average is. I'm pretty sure it beats it. Let's close that out. And the last item we're going to look at here, something that I think is really cool. It didn't really sell for that much. It sold for $5.50, which is to be expected. Oh, the Lowe and Sons. I didn't tell you what that's one thing I do have to look up is the is what they ended up shipping for. That one just not sticking out of my head. Uh, okay, this one we actually did make some money on the shipping cost because I definitely overestimated the. I think what happened is I put in the wrong dimension because they paid $19.82 for the shipping, and sometimes I hit the wrong number when I'm shipping stuff out, and people still pay the shipping cost because the actual shipping cost came out to. I'll tell you right now because this is already gone in the mail. Shipping label $12.62. This must have gone for closer to in the 2 to 3 pound range, but we still made a considerable amount on the shipping. So it's like $7 on the shipping on this one, which is pretty good. Um, because I more than likely made an error with. I mean, I don't know exactly. I will have to go back and look. Um, yeah, I know I definitely made an error with. I had to have made an error with the shipping on this one because that $19.82 is not right. So I don't know. You know what? This was purchased over the weekend, and this past weekend was a holiday weekend, so there was a lot of orders. There was a lot. Every time there's an extra, day where you don't ship, these orders start piling up, and I get to the point where I'm like, because I had an extra day, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna stress myself out, and I'm gonna take it easy on Sunday. Not gonna pull anything. Monday, hospital duty day. So I'm like, I got my hospital duty. I'll just worry about that, and that's it. And I'll take care of shipping later that evening, next morning, and at that point, it's like survival mode to get everything out, get everything boxed up and out of here. That extra day really does pile on quite a bit more. Okay, so the next item here is a wrestling card. If you guys are familiar with wrestling, this is Kane. I believe this is his original uniform or outfit that he wore when he first debuted in the WWE and or WWF. Now, this is only $5.50. Cards ship under the card shipping. I forget what they call it exactly, but there's a very specific shipping method you use that gets you tracking, but it still ships via like just standard envelope. And the cost on shipping on this was oh, not what was the cost on shipping? Or what they paid for shipping. The buyer paid. Not doing it right. Come on, Kane. $1.25. So they paid $1.25 to have this item shipped out. It is a very specific. There's very specific dimensions you have to follow. Pretty much, if you stick to just your standard envelope, this will be fine. Therefore, that's why it's in a little plastic sleeve thing there to help protect the thing, because there's not much protection, and you can't really put any bubble wrap in there because then it will be beyond the dimensions that are allowed for this shipping service. So be cautious and be aware of that. So Kane trading card, $5.50. You're thinking like, that's not that much. However, I paid $5.89 for a board game, as you can see in the title, World Wrestling Federation trivia game. So this was a board game, and it had all these individual cards. There was one actually older than this, which those cards do a little bit better, and they have all these cards in there, these wrestling cards in there. They're to be used with the game, but they are still trading cards. And each of them, they go for about 3 to 5. I think I sold one already, which I didn't feature. I should have featured on here, but I think it's over $8. I'm not. I think was it the Stone Cold? Obviously the more popular, wrestler. So $5.50 for this Kane. And keep your eye out for it. It's a World Wrestling Federation trivia. There's other wrestling cards. They don't really do that well. I did sell the WCW packs from back in the 90s. They were still sealed, brand new packs, so those did really well. The individual cards You got to lot them up. You know, to me, it's not really worth it. And everybody asks way too much when it comes to sports cards out there. And these ones did incredibly well. I just happened to find it at the Goodwill in a board game. And so there were, I think, 40 cards. I'm not really 100% sure. So at $5 and let's just say $6 for the board game, we're doing incredibly well with each, by selling these off all individually. So part it out. If you're going to make more money, part it out. You get more listings that way too. You could also bundle them too as well, like maybe Kane and Undertaker. Although I don't think was there an Undertaker in there? I can't remember, but you can bundle them up. Like Kane and Undertaker were known to be a rival, or Stone Cold and The Rock. You can put them together, and we're gonna make some good money on this. On this board game. Actually, we already made our money back. They've already sold other cards. Yes, I was a big wrestling fan back in the day, and we definitely watched a lot of wrestling. We would get together every so WWE or WWF as it used to be called had a once a month pay per view, usually at the last Sunday of the month, and when we would go to church, be there with all my friends, and we're like, all right, where are we going? Where are we going to watch the pay per view tonight? At church. We're like, where are we going? Whose house are we going to? Where are we going to go? We usually went to one of my friend's house, Isaac's house, because he was really close. And not only that, we had we had to have food, of course. We had to have party food. And there's a local joint which is called the Pizza Box, and we would get. I'll just leave that up there, and we would get a pizza called the Uncle Sam. Let's check this menu out here. I'm gonna have an East Side Goodwill video coming out. This is over on the east side of town. Really good pizza. Oh my god! And then we would get the Uncle Sam, which was huge, so big they had to cut it in. They would have to cut it. Here's the video right here. They have to cut it in little squares. So we have, you can get by slice. There's your medium size. It's pretty standard. There's your large, and they had an extra large size, which is a little bit more rare. Then they had the super large, which was your 20-incher. The King Kong, which is the 20, and then the Uncle said this was a massive box, 26 inches. It was huge. I had a little sedan at the time, and I would have to put it on the dash of the car because it was such a big box. It was called the Uncle Sam. It was cut into little squares, and we usually get a couple of those, and we would enjoy the pay-per-view for wrestling. Those were the days. So pretty cool. Let me close that out now. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below with these what solds. And if you guys are finding any of these items out there, if you're familiar with any of these items as well too, I hope these are new, cool, unique items that you haven't seen. That you've probably seen wrestling cards, but this was from a board game. I was completely unaware that they made a board game back in the 90s. I think this was in the 90s. Yeah, pretty sure it was in the 90s because they still had WWF on it. The low end sons, these wallets, random things. So let me know what you guys are finding out there down in the comments. But we'll see you in the next video.